All right. Hey, Shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakodash. Right. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson, okay, is going into this right here, and the thing is, we examine things through the spirit, we can see, where stuff might potentially go, I just wanted to bring this out. This came out, I saw this, I believe either today or yesterday, but it says, Florida to detain migrants and new Everglades facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. It says, in the interest of carrying out more of President Donald Trump's promised mass deportations, officials in Florida this week started construction on a migrant detention facility they're billing as efficient and low cost because, as they said, Mother Nature will provide much of the security. It says, Alligator Alcatraz, as Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer calls it, is being erected on a little-used airstrip in the Everglades. So out there in Florida, that the vast expanse of marshes and swamps that covers much of southern Florida and hosts a dizzying array of wildlife, from hundreds of bird species to bobcats, panthers, crocodiles, and alligators. Right? And they're building this prison here, detention center in this area for a reason. It says you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. If people get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Uthmeyer said in an announcement video that casts the facility as the one-stop shop to carry out President Trump's mass deportation agenda and features slow-motion footage of snapping alligators. Okay? So you could read some more on this, all right? But basically, Trump, this is one of his one of the things, he's intending to do. Okay, and I typed in what would happen at Trump's Alligator Alcatraz. It says, just getting right to the point. Purpose, on the AI overview, it says it's designed to detain migrants, potentially including those awaiting trial or deportation. All right, and guess what? You know who's starting it? You know who is over this? Jump down to it. Here, right, it says, Noam said the new Florida detention facilities will be funded in large part by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or in other words, FEMA. All right, it says shelter and services program during the Biden administration's funds from the program are used towards providing food, shelter, and care for migrants released from DHS custody. All right, so, this, this is, you could basically kind of say this is a FEMA camp, okay? You could basically say that. All right, now, this, regarding the migrants and all that, okay, but as we know in prophecy, people are going to be getting hauled off in the FEMA camps. This is Jacob's Trouble vibes right here, man. That's what I wanted to name this lesson, Jacob's Trouble vibes, all right? And a lot of those migrants are Israelites, okay? You see where they, you see where they're getting, you see the, let me say it like this. Let me say this, rather. You see the people that they're grabbing up, as migrants, Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of migrants that are not Israelites, but you got a lot that are, okay? And they really grabbing them up, you see? And this is a place that they would take them to. All right, and who's to say, in the future, Trump, if that's how the Lord, has it to pan out, it could happen another way, but just, once again, examining stuff through the spirit, who's to say in the future Trump won't, have more of these type of facilities planned out or erected, for FEMA camps, okay? And when Jacob's Trouble happens in FEMA camps, man, look, it's gonna be it's gonna be hell on you tribes, boy. All right. You know, we can just see that in the spirit. It's not gonna be nothing nice. Okay. Let me get a scripture real quick. This is the book of Zechariah 14:2. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. Going to the time of Jacob's trouble, right? It says, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity. Captivity being bondage, you know. And in Jacob's trouble, people are going to be getting rounded up and hauled off, and that's basically bondage, hauled off into these concentration camps, man. Okay. We've been prophesying and telling you about these things here. All right. And we know that, those camps are going to come, because look what the devil is going to do with brothers. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And Esau, our defensive counterpart, the spiritual demon Satan, right, is going to cast, some brothers into prison, into these concentration camps, man. All right. So that just goes to show you that they are going to be used. Our people are going to be getting thrown into different concentration camps. All right. It says that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay. And also remember, Trump said before that he wants to put America's most dangerous criminals in America. He wants to put them in these different places, these different type of, intense prisons and everything. Okay. That could be, brothers getting, shipped to X, Y, and Z. Okay. Different places, around the world possibly. Okay. To, go to these camps. All right. And now, once again, remember, brothers that, do go, it's not going to be the end of us if we are to get taken out there. It's not going to be the end of us. All right. Just because you get taken to a concentration camp, that doesn't, if you get taken to a concentration camp, all right, or wherever they take you, that doesn't mean that's the end of you. All right. See, yes, some brothers are going to be martyrs. We don't know who, but don't think just automatically that's going to be the end of you. The Lord could give you spiritual powers to where you break out, and now you lead in a group of Israelites or something, in Jacob's trouble. You see? The Lord, hey, the scriptures say, I'll get this real quick. This is the book of Isaiah 55. Wait. Okay, yeah, Isaiah 55, 8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So, average person thinking that thinking they would get, taken to a concentration camp, to be put to death. All right, but for brothers, the Lord does things in certain ways, man. Okay, that we don't understand sometimes. Okay, I might not see right away. All right, the Lord is the master chess player. Okay, think about this. I was talking with a brother, basically, like this. Imagine, you playing the Lord in chess. All right, and as he says, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. How you gonna beat somebody like that? You see, they know all different types of moves, how to do this, how to set this up so this could happen. All right, and that's possibility of what happened with certain brothers. They get taken to these concentration camps, man. All right, so don't think it's the end of you. All right. But we know that these camps are coming. All right. They're not only just going to get brothers up, but they're going to round, wicked of our people up too. Okay. They're going to round them up, ship them off to these camps and stuff like that. Okay. So, there you have that, man. And guess what? When that time comes, hey, it's the book of 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. And, this to the wicked of our people. 2nd Esdras 15, 26 and 27. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. So all these people, as we speak now, Jake is sinning somewhere. As we speak now, our people are sinning somewhere, doing something wicked, right? And the Lord knows them. He knows about them, all right? Let's read in here, verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, right? Jacob's trouble, the times of destruction, death, and everything we've been preaching about, these times are basically here, okay? And it says, and ye shall remain in them, for the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him, you see? So because you sinned and been wicked against, because the majority of our people have been sinning and been wicked against the Lord, look, when these horrible and horrifying times come, the Lord ain't going to deliver them out of it. Yeah, so when you get hauled off into a concentration camp, just remember, you sinned against Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, okay? To the wicked of our people, all right? See, the brothers, they're going to get persecuted for their, grabbed up and whatever for their belief. Wicked of our people, if they get taken to a concentration camp, the wicked of our people, it's for their wickedness, for their death and destruction because what they done against the Lord, okay? So Trump setting stuff up like that, look, hey man, it's really the Lord, and who's to say, in the future he might not set up more, okay? Because this man's thought, let me get this again. This is Proverbs chapter 21:1. The king's heart, meaning his mind, is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Lord controls a ruler's mind, okay? So who's to say this man Trump, won't set up, as his mindset might be, focusing on, or, certain types of people, for example, like us, the Israelites or whatever, okay? Or might say something in the future like, you might remember, what he said about getting all the so-called bad people out of the U.S., all right? Who's to say, because he might think like that and not put up some more, camps or whatever, or detention centers, But I just wanted to bring this out. Forgot what I was about to get, if I was going to get anything. All right? Yeah, so, I'll leave it at that. Okay? I just wanted to, put this out there, let brothers know, So, with that, Lord, this lesson was edifying, giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.